everyone. Welcome to This Day. It is Saturday and it's September 11th. On our show today, we have Kaiser Permanente and we have Frances O'Neill here who's going to talk to us about healthy eating, and she's got a lot of really great suggestions, especially if you're trying to lose some weight. So I really loved meeting with her. And then we also have a 20th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks here in America, and we are going to present to you a tribute to all of those people who sacrificed and perished on those attacks. So we'll have that for you later in our program. All right, let's take a look at our weather. It's looking pretty good here. Saturday's looking good, 91-70, so it is going to be a little on the hot side still, but we are going to slowly cool down Sunday and Monday. 87-63 on Sunday, and Monday 85-62, so it's still going to be warm. If you're traveling in the state of California, take a look at these numbers. Our local beaches are 82-66, Santa Barbara 76-61, San Diego 83-70, Tahoe 75-36, Mammoth 75-36, and Big Bear 78-46. If you're going to the desert, Palm Springs and Las Vegas are going to be warm, 108-82 and 104-78. Now, our sunrise was at 6:32 and our sunset is 7:02, and what a beautiful photo. Thank you, Cole, for sending that in. It's gorgeous. Love the turning of the leaves, and hopefully we'll see that here in the next couple of weeks. So if you have a photo you'd like to share with us, please email it to lagunawoodsvillagetv@gmail.com. Now, also wanted to let you know about our Saturday movie for today. It is called Sunset Boulevard, and, you know, an oldie but a goodie with Gloria Swanson. So enjoy that today, 2 p.m. with subtitles, 6 p.m. without subtitles, and that's sponsored by Memorial Care. All right, stick around. We're going to have Kaiser Permanente, and then, of course, a 9/11 20th anniversary tribute. So stay tuned.
Primary care is our first interaction with the healthcare system, but most people don't visit their physicians due to long lines, waiting periods, and moving from lab to lab. At Cure Medical, we bring healthcare straight to your doorstep. Our modern, upscale mobile clinics provide services such as prevention and wellness plans, annual exams, lab work, blood tests, and more. Give us a call today to learn more and schedule your next appointment. Cure Medical, close to home, far from ordinary.
For more than 30 years, Active Care has been providing the highest level of care to residents with Alzheimer's or other memory loss. We specialize in memory care. That's our sole focus. With 3 levels of care and an engaging activity program, Active Care enhances life for every resident every day. Our newest community, Active Care Laguna Hills, will open this fall. We're now accepting reservations. Call 949-877-8233 to learn more.
Super Immunity, powered by Source, is the first of its kind water-soluble, vitamin-fortified, drinkable supplement. These perfectly balanced liquid vitamins are delivered with 25 milligrams of hemp extract. What does that mean for you? It means 0 THC, no sugar, and no calories. Super Immunity is water-based, not oil, so your body gets the full effect of your vitamins and anti-inflammatory hemp without the compromise. Now you can stay active and do what you do best. Take your best shot, morning, afternoon, or night.
Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Frances O'Neill, who is a registered dietitian and health educator for Kaiser Permanente, Orange County. Well, Frances, thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Now, you know, I think the last 18 months, more people have been complaining about gaining weight, and that's primarily, I'm assuming, because we've been indoors cooking, relatively easy to go to our pantries and just eat a bunch of non-healthy foods. So now that we're all trying to get back on track, what are some of the things that, you know, you are experiencing from your clients through Kaiser Permanente right now? What are some of their concerns?
Exactly. The fact that they've been stuck indoors, They, haven't been able to exercise. They are stressed, so they're eating unhealthy foods. Maybe they've lost their job, so they don't have the finances that they used to allow them to buy healthier foods. Lost gym memberships, just a lot of stress and being pent up has led to some additional challenges when it comes to healthy eating.
Well, yes, I think I'm included in that group as well as many of our residents, because our group is one of the highest at-risk folks for getting COVID, and then we've done a great job of vaccinating everyone. However, there still is so much concern because they don't want to get sick, so you can't blame them for that. And like you said, going out, spending money on food, or even some of the delivery programs can be expensive. Yes. So when they have to think about eating healthy, what are some things they should keep in mind?
Oh, goodness, there's so much that you can do. I want to first start with portion control. There is a concept that we preach here at Kaiser that's called the healthy plate method. Oh. And this is how we educate people regarding portion control. It's where you use a plate that's no bigger than 9 inches across, and the plate is divided. If you would just visualize a plate being divided in half. Half of your plate you're going to fill with what we call those non-starchy vegetables, the crunchy, watery, leafy type vegetables. The other half of the plate is divided in half again, such that a quarter of the plate you devote to the healthy carbs. The other quarter of your plate is for your healthy lean proteins. So you're never overeating then on the carbs. You're keeping your protein moderate, and you're really filling up on those really healthy non-starchy vegetables. Mm-hmm. So the plate size is really critical because we eat with our eyes. So as you can see, this plate with all the pictures of the food looks very full. There's very little, if any, empty spaces. Mm-hmm. That's where our eyes go. If we get a plate, let's say we have a plate this size, which is more a standard dinner size plate here in America.
Yeah.
And if I were to fill it with the food, you see there's a lot of white space there. And that is where our eyes go to. They go to the white space. And when we see white space, empty spaces on a plate, it sends a message, empty stomach. So we are just automatically going to want to fill up that plate. But if I put this same food, or even just use this plate that, again, you see all they've already filled it in with food, you see very little, if any, white on that plate. Right. And its plate is full. So that sends a message, full stomach. So just by downsizing your dishware will go a long ways towards maintaining portions. And again, we want to fill up on those non-starchy veggies and not overdo on the carbs or the protein.
Wow. Well, nobody wants to go out and buy new plates. So what would you suggest? Like a paper plate?
Yeah, paper plates are perfect size, or a salad plate. If you have something that's smaller than 9 inches, that's fine too. You might just need to have a snack in between your meals. But yeah, a paper plate works just fine. That's about 8-9 inches, right?
Okay, good, because I was looking at that plate going, that looks a lot smaller than my current plate that I have. So if maybe just if you want to still use your big plate, you can maybe put like a little paper plate on top of that plate, so then you still have your dinnerware.
Yes, yeah.
And then when you talk about, you just mentioned this non-starchy vegetables. So at what point can you put on that plate a starchy vegetable? Would that take the place of your pasta?
Exactly. So that would be your carb. A starchy vegetable is a healthy carb. It's one of our healthy carbs. So it would go in this quarter section here of the plate. Okay. So absolutely. Peas, corn, potatoes, winter squash are what we consider the starchy vegetables.
Help me understand something about sweet potatoes, because honestly, when I read about it, it always seems to be a little bit of confusion that sweet potatoes are good for you to eat if you are on a particular type of, you're watching your weight and something like that. You can eat a sweet potato, but then you have other people go, oh, no, 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 it's a potato, so it's starchy. So which is it?
It is starchy, and it is very healthy as well. In terms of the carbohydrate content between a white potato and a sweet potato, it's about the same, but you do get a little more nutrients in the sweet potato. Get a little more vitamin A, for example. It's a little more fiber, but then again, we tend not to eat the skin of the sweet potato, whereas a russet potato or red potato, you do tend to eat the skin, so you do get a little more fiber that way. There's a little more nutrition in the sweet potato, but ounce for ounce, the carb content really is the same between a potato and a sweet potato. Okay. So it's really a matter of preference.
Did you say you're not supposed to eat the skin of the sweet potato?
You could.
Okay.
But most people, because it is so, it's tough.
Yeah.
It's tougher than for a russet or a red potato. So most people don't eat the skin of the sweet potato, but you could.
Oh, okay, good. Because I wasn't sure. I thought, oh my goodness, what if you did eat it and you weren't supposed to? We would not normally know that. Now, healthy food, when you actually say healthy food, a lot of people will say, well, I went to the grocery store and in the frozen department, I pulled out a lean cuisine and it says healthy right on
it. Right. Yes, we have to be careful and really do our homework when it comes to evaluating products at the grocery store. There are certain rules. There are some really simple rules that you can use. One is, of course, the nutrition fact label. You have to ignore what's in big bold print. That's what the marketing and the advertising agencies of the food manufacturing companies want you to see. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, it's going to be somewhat truthful, but it can also be exaggerated. And so we really just, a rule of thumb is ignore what's in big bold print and just go with what's on the nutrition fact label. So here's some egg whites. This is an excellent source of protein, by the way. It's the best protein source for the human. So we use a lot of these at our house. But on the nutrition fact label, always check the serving size first. Always check the serving size first, because you can get so easily misled if you just look at all the numbers and think to yourself, oh, that looks good. And you bring it home and you eat your normal serving size and then find out later that the serving size that you ate was 3 or 4 times what their serving size is. So now all those numbers are out the window. So when you look at the serving size, one of the things that you should look for on a label that would be in big bold print is the word low fat. If a product says low fat, that is a legitimate term that you can stand by. And we do want to be eating relatively low fat food. The other thing you have to be careful of are, like the sodium. The sodium, try to keep it under 200 milligrams. The sugars, total sugar for the day, no more than 6 teaspoons or 24 grams. So we have total sugar on this label. So again, you don't want more than 24 grams or 6 teaspoons in a day of sugar. Your carbs, it depends. If it's less than 30 grams, it's usually pretty good. If you have diabetes, it's really critical that you pay attention to that total carb content, and it should be less than 30. Sodium, again, less than 200. Saturated fat, that's a big one, should be 1 gram or 2 grams or less per 100 calories for those saturated fats. Right. So that's one thing to look at. The other thing is the ingredient list. How many ingredients are on that list? And do you know what they are? The less ingredients that you have, if there's 5 or less ingredients and you know exactly what those ingredients are, it's not a chemical, then that's a pretty good product. That's a minimally processed product. A good example of that would be corn tortillas. Corn tortillas, it's cornmeal and maybe some water. So very minimally processed. So those are some rules of thumb that you can use when you're shopping at the grocery store to best ensure. Of course, anything in the produce aisle is going to be perfectly safe.
Right.
Dairy products, you want to be choosing low fat or non-fat. In the meat section, any white meat of poultry, any fish, and if it's red meat, you want it to be minimally marbled. Maybe a little bit of marbling on the inside. Any fat on the outside, you're going to trim away.
Mm-hmm.
All of your beans, all of your lentils, and then for your grains, you want them to be in their whole form. Here's some steel cut oats, for example, brown rice, barley. You might have heard of something called quinoa, which actually isn't a grain, it's actually a seed, but we use it as a carbohydrate, and it's a wonderful substitution for rice, for example. And how about some legume pasta? How about some garbanzo bean pasta that the only ingredient is chickpeas? So there's all sorts of pastas out there now that have that are made from something other than wheat, which reminds me of one other important thing to look for on this label is the fiber content.
Yeah.
A good number is 5. That's a really good number, 5 or more. Try not to buy anything that has less than 3 grams.
Mm-hmm.
Any of your grain products, you want it to say 100% whole wheat or whole grain.
Okay. Let's go back to the sugar content, because oftentimes people will say, well, I like fruit. Many of the fruits they're high in sugar content. So your 24 is pretty achievable, maybe with even just a handful or 2 of strawberries.
And we do not include fruit in that 6 teaspoons.
Oh.
That's added sugar. And, you take it from the sugar bowl. You've got some sugar in a dessert, for example. Fruit is, we say limit it to 3 servings a day, and you should be able to cup your hand around that piece of fruit. This is actually a little large. We like our apples maybe a little bit smaller than this. You really should be able to cup your hand around it. But this is pretty close. A banana, a serving is a half of a medium.
Oh.
For berries, it would be a 1.5 cups. For melon, it's usually 1 cup to 1.5 cups. An orange, again, you should be able to cup your hand around it. Don't include your fruit as part of that 6 teaspoons or 24 grams. But we do suggest you limit it to no more than 3 servings a day, and try not to drink juice. Try to eat the actual whole fruit.
Right, boy, those juices have lots of added sugar in them. But we can always get one of those juicers, and that would be a real good source, don't you think?
If you keep the fruit to a minimum, again, keeping it to no more than 3 servings a day, and you put a lot of vegetables in there, and ideally you want a juicer that takes the whole fruit or vegetable and pulverizes it.
Yeah.
And as opposed to the juicers where it takes the pulp or the fiber out and that gets thrown in the trash.
Okay.
That's the best part. So you want that juicer that those really high powered juicers that pulverize the whole fruit, vegetable, and that's what you get in your juice.
Right. Okay. That's good information. And then for those of us who do tend to snack in between our meals, what are some healthy snacks?
Oh, my favorite topic. Yeah. Especially as we get older, we tend, some of us as we get older tend not to have quite the appetite. So maybe we're eating smaller meals and maybe we're not eating enough. That's when snacks are critical. Or let's say you have a big appetite, you're always seeming to be hungry, then you're going to need snacks. Ideally, we should be eating about every 2 or 3 hours, but smaller amounts. Keep that blood sugar nice and stable. So some of my favorite snacks are fruit. I am a big fan of hummus on a corn tortilla, hummus on a low-carb flour tortilla. There's some wonderful low-carb flour tortillas out there. Hummus on vegetables, hummus on carrots, for example. But one of my absolute favorite is dark chocolate. I live on this stuff. It's got to be 72% or darker. This is actually 90% cocoa, which is pretty bitter. Takes some getting used to, but you don't have to go this high in cocoa. You could, again, do the 72% or darker. There's all sorts of nut butters, but they have to be the all natural style where the fat separates out. Has to be the all natural style. Have it with maybe a piece of fruit like an apple and some all natural style peanut butter, or some low fat cheese on the tortilla, low fat cheese with an apple maybe. But here's another one of my favorites that I live on. That's nuts.
Oh yeah.
Nuts. Any kind. Mix maybe some dried fruit in there. Have it with some of your dark chocolate. I just recommend that it be a low salt or no salt nut. Be careful with the salt content.
Right. Oh, those are excellent choices. Definitely excellent. And then one last thing, if we want more information about any of the things that we've talked about, where should someone go?
We have cooking classes, monthly cooking classes. We just had one. It was summer salads. This next month, September, the topic is cancer prevention. So every month, it's going to be September 21st is the next one at 6 o'clock. So those are wonderful resources for you, as well as that Center for Healthy Living, which is where you can go to our library there and download all of our literature. And the one piece of literature that I highly recommend for healthy eating is the handout called Creating a Healthy Plate. So you go to Center for Healthy Living, you go to the Wellness tab, and then in the search bar, you put in Creating a Healthy Plate. And that is a wonderful resource, providing great information for how to eat healthy.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for all the information. I have some great tools now to use on how to eat a lot better. So thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Okay. And we'll be right back after this.
Why do I love being a doctor at Kaiser Permanente?
My only job is to take great care of my patients. I'm empowered to do what's right for you.
Our digital records mean your medical history is in one place, so I can give you great care.
Your primary care doctor, your specialists. It's great. We all work together as one team.
Our integrated approach to healthcare helps my patients live longer, healthier lives.
I don't just practice here, I'm a patient too. I wouldn't trust my family's healthcare to anyone else.
Pickleball is the fastest growing sport in Laguna Woods, and during the day, hundreds of pickleballers play on the association's 7 courts. But at night, that number is greatly reduced because there are only 4 lighted courts. Light the Night is a community improvement project, and the Pickleball Club has stepped up to assist GRF with funding. You can help by making a tax-deductible donation of any size through the Village Community Fund. Go to villagecommunityfund.org and click on the Light the Night link for more information.
Hearing aids require a lot of attention. Don't underestimate the problems earwax can cause. Come in and see inside your own ear canals to find out how much blockage you have. Debris like earwax can cause up to 45% reduction in amplification. Your hearing aids may be able to be significantly improved to help you hear conversations clearly with a simple office visit. Every day, patients say, "Oh my gosh, that sounds so much better." Stop in or call us today for a complimentary cleaning and ear inspection. Tell them Stuart sent you.
On this 20th anniversary of 9/11, we wanted to pay tribute to those who lost their lives in the unprecedented attack on American soil. On the morning of September 11th, 2001, I remember being awakened by my husband, who told me to turn on the TV. Something terrible had happened. Still reeling from what had happened and shocked by what I was viewing, I then watched the second plane fly into the Twin Towers. The Twin Towers wasn't the only attack. 4 planes hijacked by Al-Qaeda terrorists crashed into the Twin Towers and the Pentagon and into a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania. The following timeline is in Eastern Standard Time. At 8:46 a.m., Flight 11's hijacked plane crashed into floors 93 to 99 of the North Tower of the World Trade Center. At 8:50 a.m., President Bush is notified of the incident. At 9:30 a.m., United Flight 175's hijacked plane flies into floors 75 to 85 of the South Tower of the World Trade Center. At 9:37 a.m., Flight 77's hijacked plane flies into the Pentagon. At 9:42 a.m., for the first time in American history, the FAA grounds all flights flying over or bound for the United States. At 9:59 a.m., the South Tower of the World Trade Center collapses. At 10:07 a.m., after passengers and crew members aboard hijacked Flight 93 contact friends and family and learn about the attacks in Newark and Washington, they attempted to retake the plane. Hijackers crashed the plane into a field in Somerset County, Pennsylvania. At 10:28 a.m., the World Trade Center's North Tower collapses. At 5:20 p.m., the 47-story 7 World Trade Center collapses. Now, on November 3rd, 2014, the One World Trade Center opens on the site of the Twin Towers, featuring new office buildings, parks, a museum, and a memorial to those who died. On this day today, 20 years after the terrorist attacks, we are reminded of the sacrifices made regularly to preserve our freedom in the United States. Let us not forget those who perished in those attacks or who were first responders and survived but were stricken with illness related to these attacks. Thank you for watching This Day. We will be back on Monday at 9 a.m. Have a great weekend. Now, if you would please join me in a moment of silence to honor the 20-year anniversary of 9/11.
Thank you.